Good morning, everybody. Karen here, coming with you to my craft room. Sharing today a process video on how to make this adorable treat holder for Valentine's Day for your loved ones, your friends. Mine is going to be for my coworkers at work who always benefit from when I make these fun treat holders. But it's a double, it's got two sides to it, little kind of angular base to it, and you can fill it with goodies. I'm going to probably put a bunch of candies inside a gusset bag and deliver it to my coworkers around Valentine's Day. So let's start with your supplies. What you're going to need is you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock, a good heavyweight cardstock. I use the Close to My Heart cardstock, and because you want to basically give it a good weight to it. Patterned paper, double-sided or single-sided, that's up to you. And you're going to need, for your supplies, you're going to need a trimmer. And if your trimmer has a scoring blade, that's great. If not, you can use a scoring platform. We're going to work with that. And then for embellishing, what I did is I'm using the Smitten collection from Close to My Heart for this treat bag, and I embellished mine with some stamped images from this coordinating stamp set. I love this stamp set because of the punny sentiments that go with the embellishment, the stamped images. So for our koala, we have I love eucalyptus. With the bee, we have will you be mine. I love these kind of goofy, fun, funny punny sentiments that go along with stamped images. So you're also going to need a strong tape to adhere the sides of the box and the different pieces of the box together. And let's get started. So what I have is I have Cricut files that I used free images on the Cricut to cut the first parts of this. What I did is from my cardstock, I cut 2 scalloped hearts, roughly 6 inches in width. And then I cut from the pattern paper 2 pattern paper hearts that are about 5.5 inches. Those will make my sides. And I will include a link in the description to this to a blog post that I'll be posting. The blog post will have a link to the Cricut file. If you don't happen to have your own heart templates that you could use to trace, you can easily use the Cricut file. And if you don't have a Cricut, I'll see if I can find some heart templates to upload as well. But I did use free images on the Cricut so that if you don't, you don't have to buy anything to create this. So let's get started. So what we're going to do, so I've got my cut from the Cricut, these 2 pieces to start with. Excuse me, my sinuses are a little crazy right now. Then your second piece of cardstock, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip that is going to be 1 inch wide by 12 inches tall for my handle. And then I'm going to cut another piece that is going to be 6 inches by 8 inches. And this is how we're going to build the box base. So this, basically what we're doing with this is we're going to be scoring the center of the box, and then we're going to be cutting away a couple little pieces, and then we're going to score the diagonal lines. So on my 6-inch side, I'm going to line it up at 4 inches. I am going to bring my scoring blade to my 5, and I'm going to take this and score up to the 3. And then I am going to rotate it, line it up at 5, and score from 2 to 4. Rotate one more time. I'm going to follow the same thing. This time I'm going to go from my 3 to my 5. And then I'm going to line it again up at 5. The scoring is what is a little bit harder with this. So basically what you have is a scored box. This is your base of your piece. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my scoring blade out, and I'm going to, oops, get this out of here, put my cutting blade back in, and now I'm going to do my cut lines, which is going to be, so I'm lining it up at 4. I'm going to cut from here, from the end to that 5-inch score line, lift it up, and then go in at the 3-inch mark down to the end. So now I've got part of it. Again, I'm going to line it up at 4, and this time I'm just going to repeat it. So from the end to the first score line, from the second score line to the end. So now this is what I have. Now what I need to do is I need to take about 7/8 inch off of these outer corners. So I'm going to line it up at my 7/8 inch mark, and I'm just going to cut from the end into the 4-inch line, and from the 2-inch mark there, and take those 2 little pieces off. And I'm going to repeat this on the other side. This is probably the more labor intensive piece, is just this different cutting and scoring. And to the 2, I always lift my cover just so that I don't go off. There we go. And now the last pieces. So last part is going to be scoring the corners. So my scoring blade's going back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm scoring from this corner to the corner of the box there. I'm going to do the same thing out here, this corner to the corner of the box, and then rotate it. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I try to line up both corners, makes it easier. My trimmer doesn't like me this morning. And then there we go. So this is what you end up with. And now fold in these corners a little bit so you can see. So I've got my folded corners. I've got my 2-inch base. It's a 2-inch square base. And such. So what we're going to do, and you can use a bone folder to crease your score lines. Mine is currently packed away from a recent event, so I'm not going to reach around and get it out. I'm just going to kind of use my fingers. So this is what we have. There we go. And I apologize if I went off camera for a bit. So now I'm going to take my strong adhesive, and I'm going to, so I'm on the outside. This is going to be my outside because we're going to tuck these folded score lines underneath. So I'm working on the outside instead of on the inside of the box. I am just going to create triangles here with my score tape on all 4 of the triangles, just for stronger adhering. And like I said, you know, the cutting and the scoring of your base is probably the hardest part of this, but once you've done it once, it gets a lot easier. So, and if you are making multiples of these boxes, you can definitely get 2 of the box bases out of 1 piece of your paper. So there's my adhesive. So now I'm just going to take the backings off, and I'm going to start to fold these pieces under. So we're just going to fold, and I just use just my eye just to kind of line up the edge on the score line, like just like that. And so I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. And this is just, you know, a fun little box. And if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can definitely do that. It's, you know, kind of a fun, you could make it into a boat. Thinking about it now, just, you know, I think it might be a fun additional way to use it. Make it into a boat, add a mast, whatever. I'm sure this base could be used for multiple reasons. It's just something I kind of came up with thinking about Valentine's Day. I love the idea of using a heart on the outside of the treat box, so I kind of like the idea of having the heart cover the box base instead of it being a square base. Just something a little bit different. I like playing with different shapes of boxes. So there's my base. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on my handle. I'll put a couple pieces at the end here, because what I'm doing is I'm hiding the handle behind my hearts so that does not show. And then we're gonna, then that way it'll get hidden behind. So I'm just gonna wrap it. And then on the other side, my other part of my handle. So there's my base, and now I'm going to add my hearts. So I've already put some adhesive on the back of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the pattern paper first to my scalloped heart shape. Now let's get this. And then what I did, because this is going to stick up past the base, I went only about, I think this is 2 inches tall, so 2 inches up from it, because I am going to wrap some of the bottom of this underneath the box. You don't have to wrap it underneath. You can cut it off if you want. And I also put this longer strip so that it would adhere more to the handle. So that's it. We're going to add our sides to this. And then I'm just lining it up. And pressing it down, and then, yeah, for mine, I just wrapped it underneath and used my fingers to kind of fold it, but that's the one side. And now I'm going to do the same on the other side, and then I'm going to add my embellishments. I've just put my stamped images on one side of the box. You can put it on both if that's what you want. You could do different embellished images on each side. That's completely your choice. You could add some additional pattern paper in a style that you want. And that's the fun way. You can kind of decorate it how you want. You don't have to follow exactly what I do. Just do your own thing, which is kind of my way of approaching things. There's my other side. And again, I'm going to wrap this underneath. And there's my box. Got to get the adhesive, so sometimes I'll just stick my hand in the bottom and just press. There we go. And I have my stamped images from my Smitten stamp set. I love this koala. He's so cute. So I'm going to use some 3D foam tape to put him a little bit raised on the front. And I did a little banner with the I love eucalyptus. Very cute. And these I stamped in the intense black ink. And then I used the tri-blend markers to color in. And then I'm going to just add for a little bit of shine, because I'm one that I always like to add a little bit of shine. I'm using the sparkles, the clear sparkles. And I'm just going to put a few of them on. I wrecked my nails last weekend, so I'm having a little trouble picking things off of backing sheets. Most of my nails are broken. So, yep, just add a few little clear sparkles. And there is my Valentine's treat box. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll make sure to link to my blog post. You'll be able to get the video, I'll have a PDF of downloadable instructions. And I hope you guys like this. And thanks for joining me again in my craft room.